1, 2, 3. That's usually how I bring myself in. Today I was just counting my trophies. Timmy, how are we, mate?
Quit the small talk. Let's get this shit over and done with.
It's been a great week for me. Didn't go up as much as I would have hoped for, but I'm not going to complain. I think 15.53 I scored. Not a bad week.
Not bad. Bloody hell, the smugness of the bloke.
You know what? Like it was a good week. I was very happy with it, and once again, I don't want to complain because I feel like I'll get my head punched in, but I only went up 1,800 spots. I'm still 600 points away from the top 1%. Like, it's just fucked. This season's insane.
On the Playbook potty last night, the spy spoke to me. He goes, I got a message from Guru on Sunday night, which talking SuperCoach, and he goes, Guru, like I'll chat to him occasionally, but not generally SuperCoach score-related stuff. And he asked me what he scored, and I said, and he said, I got 1570 or something. And Spy was like, oh, that's why he wants to know. He's going around the grounds.
I was going around the grounds. That's exactly what I was doing. So once again, not complaining, but my God, it's a tight season. It is.
Yeah.
Brutal.
It is. No, mate, look, it has been a tough weekend for the Stallions. It's been a tough season for the Stallions with a remarkable 1,200 and not many more points. But, mate, credit to you. You won a few big balls plays, as you did this time last year, and they came off in the form of Dane Gagai. Gagai and your Ramian one from a few weeks ago. So, yeah, barring an absolute miracle, it'll be 3 for you, and, mate, well deserved.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Geez, I'll tell you what, when Jesse Raymond got sent off for his weekly sin bin, I thought, fuck, it's all going to come crumbling here. I was actually told before the game that he was 50-50 to play. He'd been crook all week. It must be a bit going around the NRL at the moment.
Yeah, well, you messaged me and you're like, I think Raymond's got every chance of getting ruled out. I'm like, oh, happy days. I missed the first 5 minutes. I missed kick-off of that game. And I turned it on. He'd already scored. I'm like, oh, yeah, good one, dickhead.
Yeah, Sunday was a big day. But, yeah, Gagai, that's a move I am pretty happy with. I am now ranked 5,360. I'm out of the 7,000s for the first time in maybe 2 months, which is insane. Where you sitting, mate? How are you?
I've got myself out of the 14K and dropped to 16K.
Oh, fuck.
Mate, I'm really looking forward to
The off-season?
Well, yeah, the off-season. But initially I was dreading our post-season trade and team reviews.
Yeah.
But I'm really curious now because I haven't looked back through things, but I'm like, I don't feel like my trade-ins have been that poor, give or take a few. It's more about the ones that I've missed rather than the ones that I've brought in.
Yeah, I don't feel like I could name enough train wreck moments to signify 16,000.
Yeah, like off the top. And as said, look at my squad now and you look at it, and we did it with Desi Creek and Maxie Bryan a few weeks ago. And I go, boys, what's wrong with my squad? And they go, nothing really. And it's like off the top of my head, there'd be like, getting Dallin in early. But even like Dallin, I stopped playing him after about 2 or 3 weeks. He's rode the pine, and I brought him in for a few favourable matchups where he did score all right. I'm like, as I said, it's not so much the trade-ins, it's the ones that I've missed. Like someone like a KL Iro, who's been rock solid all season. Fanua Blake, who, he averages 70. It's nothing ridiculous. But when most other front rowers have averaged that sort of mid-50s, it's enough accumulatively week in, week out. So it'll be fascinating to have a look back on the season, but it's been a disaster.
Yeah, it's been a tough pill to swallow. Catmandu, how are you doing? How'd you go this week?
Not too bad. I got 1,296.
Okay.
So I've pretty much just not changed rank at all, which is amazing.
It's a bit like that.
Yeah. I think you've got to do a lot in order to change at this point. So just rolling with it.
The other thing though, like whenever I have a look at the guys at the top, like they don't seem to be changing either.
I don't know anyone who's made big moves, be it up or down. Anyway, it's interesting, isn't it? And I don't feel like teams are that similar. Like fullbacks are different everywhere. Yep. Granted, barring like between Ponga, Teddy, Turbo the last 4 weeks, they're probably not scoring that differently, but 5'8" are different. Hookers are different. Halfbacks, there's a bit of diversity there. Like, I don't feel like teams are super, super similar. I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, mate. I feel very similar.
Yeah.
And you know what? When I look at the boys that are at the top that are experts, you've obviously got Sabs and David. Like, they don't seem to move either.
No, they're just the same.
I put 400 on Sabs this week, and he's still ranked in the top 40.
no.
It's like the guys at the top must be so far ahead.
Davey Campbell, old colleague of mine, never been a SuperCoach superstar.
I don't think I even know who Dave is.
No, you wouldn't. He's like, does a bit of like SuperCoach shows and that on the potty with them.
Yeah.
But he's a behind the scenes guy. He was when I was working at the telly. I can't remember the exact role, but worked in like sports web development, that sort of stuff. But I think he's back in the news team now. He's 11th, isn't he, Davey?
Yeah, 11th, yeah.
One of the great blokes of all time as well. So can't claim anything because he works at News Corp. So if he wins it, he'd be filthy. But he's on a charge.
Yeah, wow. Okay, yeah. I think it's just been one of those years. And what was the top scorer this week? Like 1,007 or something?
It was like 1760 or something.
That's outrageous. In a week, without getting off topic, in a week that had some of the highest scores of all fucking time, my draft game took 16 players to score a try. Absolute shit fight. Wild times. All right. So our weekly winner from this week, as I get that up, we're not having the fastest day as far as the intranet goes.
Right, I'll jump in on you while you get it up.
Yeah.
I forgot his name. Brycey boy, who I ran into at the pub 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Back-to-back 1500s as leader.
Wow.
He's opened up about a 300-point gap, so...
Wow. You can sniff 50K.
Well, 57K.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because he's in ours and he's in the playbook one, so... Mate, could be set for a payday, so good luck to the big fella on the run home.
All right, so the top scorer in Beers and Breakevens this week went to Wombat. It's coached by Andrew. Shout out to the great Coogee Wombats. Took him to the bronze premiership of the South Sydney comp in 2021. So not a big deal, I guess. He scored, 1,724. That is a damn good knock.
Yeah, it makes me crook. He only beat me by 520 points.
See,
Huge
even these
effort.
guys at the very top, the top scorers this week in our comp, like some of them are going up 1,000 spots. It's just it's fucked.
From the biggest scores in our entire league.
From the absolute biggest scores. Like, it's
huge.
a tough season.
Well, I'll send those, once the season's done and dusted, I'll send out the rest of those prizes. So send your emails if you are the weekly winner to
beersandbreakevens@gmail.com. And then in a couple of weeks, me and Timmy will scramble to work out what the password is to that account again. That's always a fun little adventure for all of us. You'd think we'd write it down. Wrong. Heaps wrong. We refuse to write it down.
include your address in full.
Yes, including a postcode, a state, a suburb, a planet, all the things that people didn't do last year.
And we've also put a ban on Kiwi/international winners, as I'm still paying my mortgage for the last one to post when there was about 20 Kiwi winners.
I am all for the more Kiwi winners we can get. Absolutely hammer this fucker. I'm heaps into it. Okay.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's go to Team List Tuesday. So for the Cowboys, they kick off against the Melbourne Storm on Thursday night, coming here from North Queensland. For the Cows, no major changes here. Jason Tamalolo, he comes in at prop. Not much doing outside of that. For the Melbourne Storm, Uncle Craig, he's rocked the ship. I cannot believe the amount of people, Timmy, in the media and whatnot, getting stuck into them for resting. If you earn the opportunity to rest, good fucking luck to you.
Well, bless his soul, but it was I think it was Buzz causing a stir on 360 for a bit of a change, wasn't it?
Yeah, Buzz or Bulldog
or
having
someone.
a teary. Yeah,
Mate, it is a 27-round season. These blokes are battered from pillar to post. As you said, they've won the minor premiership with 2 rounds to go.
Yep.
Absolutely, they've earned their rights. And this crap about I freaking love Buzz. He's a great bloke, despite what people believe. But owing it to the fans to send out a full-strength team, Craig Bellamy in the Storm, they're trying to win a premiership for the fans, and this is the best way to do it. They've absolutely earned the right to rest.
Yeah, 100%. So as far as the Melbourne Storm goes, guys, Pappenhausen and Munster, the only real Supercoach relevant guys that have been named. Everyone else that is out of there. There are a couple of debutants there that are exciting to see. 14, Keegan Russell-Smith, I really like. Came down from the Penrith Panthers a couple of years ago. Another ball player that they've lost, so keen to see him go round. Let's move to Friday night. We've got the Doggies and the Manly Seagulls. They are not from North Queensland, for those playing at home. For the Doggies, Stephen Crichton is out. Kiraz moves to centre. Skelton on the wing. Curran, he's on the bench. Salmon in jersey 13. I'll tell you what, Timmy. I don't love Curran on the bench. Could play limited minutes, but it's better than the probable AE I was going to have to take for a lot of people.
Yep, I was in the same boat, mate. Samuel Afinu owners we are. We've got him in the front row slot. So I'll have my boy Taniela Paseka stepping up for me this week.
Yeah.
And, if Curran doesn't play, I would have been one short. I've got to trade up the sleeve. We both do. But the way I look at it is like, all right, do I use a trade on front row and get in Joe Tarpany or something who gets 30 or 40 more than my A this week? Or do I use our final trade on someone with big upside who can get those big tons with soft matchups? And it's going to be the latter. So... yeah, I'm really hoping Curran does play. And off the bench, if you didn't have the injury concern, I'd back him for 55, 60 minutes. But does he play less with the injury? I guess with where the Doggies are sitting, they probably don't risk him, especially with Max King back if he's not good to go.
Let me ask you this. In my draft team, I have both Josh Curran and Sam Hughes. I probably only need to play one of them. Who would you play this week? If Josh Curran remains on the bench... do you lean towards Sam Hughes?
No, I'd play Curran.
Just for the upside?
Yeah, I just think, as I said, with how good the Doggies are going, I don't think they don't have to play Curran. And as I said, Maxi King returned last week, so it's not like they're particularly low on front row stocks. Harry Hayes has been awesome through the middle, coming off the bench. So the risk obviously is, does Curran play 30 minutes and score not that well? But if he does... he'll come out on a tear. He'll get through a ton of work. On the flip side, if Curran does play his 60, Sam Hughes could play his 25, 30 minutes we've seen do and score 25 points. I guess there's a little bit of attack in Sam Hughes. He can jag a try, but we know there is in Josh Curran. So I would play Curran, but it is a tricky one.
For the Manly Seagulls, Tommy Talau returns at centre. Kohler on the bench. This one surprised me a little bit. I'm not going to lie.
I can't believe it either.
Yeah, I just Kohler's been there for so long and been so good for so long. It surprised me a little bit.
In the outside backs, 2 to 5, granted there's not much between them, I think Kohler's the best player.
Mate, when I was in Las Vegas, I remember talking to Manly people about Tommy Talau and whatnot, and they told me he is not a centre anymore. He is an out-and-out winger. It was set in stone, blah, blah, blah. And he's played incredibly well. I'm just a little bit surprised he comes straight back in for him. But
even if Tommy Talau's going that good, and as you said, he sort of made his mark a little bit on the wing this season, I think. Lehigh Hopewadi, he's awesome. I'm aware, but... he's also a rookie. We're getting towards finals time. The pressure sinks in. If they want Talau enough, Talau to wing, Kohler back at centre. I'm really surprised.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised. Kat saw it coming. She called it.
It's not that I saw it coming, but it didn't surprise me. I don't think Anthony Seibold's going to make any super drastic changes to any of those other players, but I think where Kohler has sat for the majority of this season, we have probably seen the most change. So if they're going to try something different after what happened last week,
Kohler didn't play last week.
No, but I'm saying he's the other positions are less movable for him. We don't see Siebes change those up as much.
Yeah. Did you say Kohler didn't play last week?
He didn't, did he?
I think he came off the bench.
Kohler did play last week, but he didn't have a good game.
Oh, no, he did. No, sorry, we were at the golf thing. So
it was Talau that didn't play last week.
Yeah, Talau didn't play, yeah.
Oh, apologies. Yes, we were at Hello Sport event.
Very deep stuff.
Anyway, interesting.
It surprises me.
Yeah. Panthers Rabbits, 8 p.m. Friday night for the Panthers. McLean and Laurie out to River and Alamotti in. Kenny at 9, Gunner on the edge. This backline, mate, I am struggling to keep up to date with what's doing here week to week.
I've sort of harped on a bit about it, and I'm starting to feel bad about it, but Isaac Tungo.
These guys have families.
Yeah, seriously, it's a bit like that. Fortunately, I'm quite confident Isaac Tungo doesn't listen to Beers and Breakevens. He's a protected species. What's he got to do to get dropped? He hasn't made a tackle all year.
Yeah.
I don't see how Taruva's been in and out. Casey McLean, who, not his best last week. Don't think he was that bad. I think McLean had been really good. Isaac Tungo, you can do no wrong in Ivan's eyes. And, credit to Ivan, who has so much faith in him and he's backing him to do a job, but he's been backing him all season to come good and he hasn't yet.
I'll tell you what, Isaac Tungo's going to think twice before he spits in your coffee next year. Love that.
Do you agree, though?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I just am a decent human.
Do you have any, this is very SuperCoach relevant, any lean towards which edge Toto will play? Someone commented on the Playbook one. I know, tough question. Someone commented on the Playbook YouTube last night because we had a good chat about where it might land. And apparently New South Wales Cup, Alamotti and Taruva were playing left edge and I think went half right. Again, this is unverified, but so potentially because Toto on the right wing, it's big and he becomes a serious play this week.
Yeah, I think personally, if I had Brian Toe, I'd be playing him. I don't mind him as a buy, whichever side he's on this week, to be honest with you. As a little pod play.
So tricky because you're like, all right, Luai becomes the more dominant half and he plays left edge. Does he start playing to left more? And maybe he does. And I recall a game mid-season when Cleary was out and Luai was taking the reins and I think Toto got a double. But he also does not overly like using his left edge. He comes back in field. Schneider, he opens up the right edge quite well.
Yeah, I don't lean in too heavily to Luai's the dominant guy. Schneider gets a lot of ball, man.
He does.
Yeah.
And that's like as good as the Raiders were last week, and I know he's now been injured since, but I couldn't believe they didn't go with Cole to partner Luai just because Luai's been so good when he's dominated and taken over this team. And I'm with you, Schneider, he almost plays as a 7 still.
I reckon if it was round 7 or round 6 instead of 26, I reckon they would have gone with Cole. But I reckon just with finals around the corner, and I reckon they've just gone for the older head, slightly older.
Older head, or do you think it's more almost? All right, Cleary's it sounds like going to be back finals week 1. We don't necessarily want Luai being the dominant player because we want to play like he will come finals time.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the reasoning is, but it didn't overly surprise me this close to finals that they would. But anyway, Rabbitohs, Walker at 7, thank God. Murray's been named. He has since been ruled out, obviously. So that would see Keon shift to 13. And what are we expecting, like a Jacob Post to jump on the edge or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. I was saying to you pre-show, I was like, when I saw Cam Murray got his suspension upgraded to 3 games, I'm like, great, my 2025 side's already taken a hit because he's going to miss round 1. I'm probably going to pick him to be off the bench. It's already started poorly. He'll probably miss a Kangaroos game or something.
Yeah, smart little challenge there by the Rabbitohs. Keon, if he does jump into 13, 2 games left without the threat of Cam Murray coming back. Interesting. I agree with what you said before. I'd rather go for a higher ceiling dude somewhere, but not a bad play.
I don't like it because the 2 games he played at lock before he moved back to the edge, he played 55 and 54 minutes. Again, just long season playing for nothing. Panthers into the Roosters. I think the scorelines are put on. I think the Bunnies get roasted in both of these. I think he gets early showers. Attacking opportunities are going to be less. Nah.
I reckon he's going to score well. It all comes down to the minutes, though, as you said. Super Saturday, Eels v Dragons, 3 p.m. out there at CommBank Stadium. I'm going to be out there for this one at a Bucks, Tim. I'm going to be doing my absolute best work.
Had to be a bottle of Mount Franklin at that one.
Yeah.
Real with the Bucks.
Don't worry about that. You motherfucker. Eels 1-17. Isaac Tungo. Jake Tungo. He's coming off the bench. Do you have a problem with him too, or what?
Well, I've got a problem with you because he's in the reserves. He's not even on the bench, so good one.
Sorry, what I meant to say was he's off the bench because he was on the bench last week.
No, I actually think that's good because I think it was also terrible coaching to have Joey Lussick and an outside back in Jake Tungo on the bench the last 2 weeks, and Lussick played like 15 minutes and Tungo didn't get on, and the Eels ran out of steam in both games. I'm like, go figure.
You got any barbs left to throw or what? You've come in hot. I love it.
Well,
I love this Tim Williams.
I've got no Supercoach left to chat. I'm just trying to look for the other avenues.
For the Dragons, Sully on the extended bench, he'd be a big in for them there. For the Dolphins, they're playing the Broncos, 5:30 up there at Suncorp. A couple of changes, a couple of forced changes and whatnot with injuries and a few things. I would keep an eye on this team list, Timmy. Heard a few things that we might see changes a little bit closer. So,
Well, I saw Plath was in doubt.
yeah.
And there was one other in doubt. I know TPJ was, but he's been named in the reserves anyway. So, yeah, we've got JMK on the extended bench.
On the extended JMK, yep. So, yeah, I would just keep an eye on that team list, what's going to happen. But I guess the only really Supercoach relevant guys, Hamiso, Isako,
Plath.
yeah. Geez, Plath would be a nice little dropout for us.
Very nice. Especially, he's dual 2RF 5'8", isn't he?
So a lot of people would have him at 6,
Yeah.
I would say.
I had
So
a
that would-
dream that I bought Plath because we were talking about him
ya?
yesterday. I dreamt about Supercoach. How crazy.
Yeah, welcome. Welcome to the club, kid.
Nothing new for you two.
I'll tell you what, if Plath is out this week, I reckon there'd be a fair whack of people running with the Plath-Galvin 5'8" combo. So
For sure.
And if not, a lot of people would have Cody Walker who they're going to have to play against Penrith. I don't mind that. All right, for the Bronx, no Reece Walsh, Tristan Saylor at fullback. Payne Haas has been named on the extended bench, though, so one to keep an eye out there. Let's move to the late game, the Sharks Wars, the Sean Johnson Cup. Sifar, he comes in at centre. Ramian suspended, moment of silence. Katoa, he comes in on the wing, but Hynes, I put this in capital letters, Timbo, because it's a big deal. Hynes on the extended. I really wish this was the Thursday night game as far as Nico goes, because I don't know if I can make it work, but I would love to.
It's very tricky, isn't it? I've got some stats on him later, so we'll
Ooh,
save that.
delicious. We'll
But,
come back to that.
Yeah, Ramian out with suspension. Here come the Stals.
Oh, please, mate. Mate, the Stallions had 3 legs last week. They're just about in a wheelchair now.
We're in the glue factory this week. Don't worry about that.
We've got the Sharkies and the Wars. They are the late game on. We already went through that. Good. The Warriors team list, though.
I'll be at this one, mate.
As I get that up. So a couple of changes for the Warriors. Obviously lost their 2 centres last week. So Taines or Picky comes in at fullback. Chance moves to centre. Ali Leotal, welcome to the draft team and into the left centre spot for the New Zealand Warriors. Egan's been named this week, which is good to see. A big one for people out there that have Appy like myself. Has saved my sorry ass there. Yeah, you needed that. Yeah, you also needed him to score negative 800, which you probably won't. Yes, that's the Warriors. For the Sunday games, Knights, Titans, McDonald Jones Stadium, 2 p.m. for the Knights. Bradman Best returns at centre. The edge back rowers, Lucas and Jones. Obviously, Tyson Frizzell out and Kai Pearce-Paul got attacked by a shark the other day. He's in all sorts. Old zipper leg Kai Pearce-Paul. Did you see it?
I haven't seen it, and I'm not unhappy about it. I've heard bad things.
It's rank.
It's terrible.
Cat's got it as a wallpaper. It's rank.
That's so weird. No, I don't.
For the Titans, Brimo's out. Phil Sami comes back in. Roosters Raiders, 4:05 p.m. at Allianz Stadium for the Roosters. Jenko starts at left centre. Wouldn't be surprised to see one of the strike centres in the competition, Satili Tupanua, end up there just quietly. He's been fantastic when he's
Can
played
we also
there.
just talk about how well he played last week?
He was incredible.
He was, I feel like maybe I just missed the conversation. I feel like no one was really talking about him. But he was unreal.
I've got a bone to pick with Satili.
Okay.
Chill the fuck out, bro. I want you to be in my Supercoach team next year at Canterbury.
Yeah.
I reckon he goes
You've
for
got
you
a
there.
bone to pick with him. Mate,
Yeah.
I owned the whole freaking right edge of the Roosters last week.
You know what else? Daniel Tupu won my draft game for me. And Chili just went,
Mate, I had Sam Walker, Joey Manu, Dom Young, and then they were going up against Cam Pereira, Brian Kelly, Jaden Campbell, probably the weakest defence edge in the NRL. I'm like, they're going to have a field day. And then Suoliti went off about 30 minutes and I'm like, okay, they have to go right now. We'll just go left to Satili and he'll have 4 line breaks and score 2 tries. And
No worries.
God.
You know what was even better?
What?
My draft game, I had Daniel Tupu. The guys versing had Manu captain. Would have been a nightmare
I
for him.
hate this year. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, Raiders, they are 1-17, essentially the same as last week there. Anything else on that
Who's
Timbo.
the 22 for the Roosters got named? Who is he?
Marky Mark. Very keen to see him debut. Cat can do it properly.
Noah Kanatiwaze. Wait. Noah Kanatiwaze. That's right.
You can pronounce every South American soccer player's name, but you can't.
Noah Kanatiwaze.
That's it, yes.
Noah
Yeah.
Kanatiwaze.
I watched
I'm improving.
Noah Kanatiwaze.
Noah Kanatiwaze.
Noah
Nice.
Kanatiwaze. I'll get that.
I went to watch him last week in Chavez Cup. He looked good. I think he's going to be relevant in SuperCoach next year. He's going to be a big talking point.
Sounds like he's been going well.
What price will what will they do there? What do you reckon? Will he be like a 400K guy or will he be base?
Yeah, I reckon they will probably treat him like a Super League player coming over.
Yeah, okay.
But based on nothing other than what we've seen probably in the past, I reckon 350 to 400.
Okay.
But it's an interesting one.
Yeah, very intriguing one. Be fair, SuperCoach, be fair. All right, Blue Wealth Property. Obviously, our major sponsors in season 2024. We had Mort's in here the other day, one of the absolute greats. And you can have a direct conversation with the Blue Wealth team about your situation and if investing in property is right for your wealth creation goals. Many Beers and Breakevens subscribers have connected with Tony, Mort's, and the team at Blue Wealth. And like Sam and Hannah, who we interviewed on the show a few weeks ago, some have made the decision to invest in property and take control of their financial future. Tony's team will chat through in detail what Blue Wealth do, how they identify great property to invest in, but more importantly, get to understand your situation and work out a plan of attack. So there's a link in the show notes below, guys, to set up a discovery call. I think, Timbo, these are fantastic.
Education is key.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, as I think I mentioned it last week, but whether you're ready to buy or want to in the future, don't know where you're at financially, you make the call, you chat to them, and by the end of that 20-minute call, however long the discoveries go for, you'll know where you're at and it'll answer a lot of questions. As you said, it's free to do, so get in touch.
Do you think, Tim, that we should potentially do discovery calls in the SuperCoach pre-season? Little 10-minute discovery calls.
Oh my God, I love these.
A hotline. And it'd be like when I was doing old parent teacher and you'd have little 10-minute increments where we'd ring up. This is your 10 minutes. As soon as that buzzer goes, see ya, next person up. You can ask whatever questions you want.
Good in theory, but after my season, I reckon my hotline would be too busy.
I think you'll find Timmy's calling.
Yeah, I'm calling you.
I don't mind the idea.
I like this.
Put it on the whiteboard.
I will.
I'd call you as long as it was anonymous.
So guys, a discovery call with Blue Wealth. Get the education that will take you so far. Even if you're not going to use it right now, get the education. Put it in your kit bag. You can whip it out in a few years. It'll come in handy. So great to see. Link is in the description. All right, Tim's stat deep dive. My girl.
Good to have Kat back in the game.
Good. Oh, she's good. She's
painting.
damn good.
I'm in it today.
She knew that I needed it this week.
Let's start with Nicho Hynes. Talk to me.
There was just bound to be another Nicho Hynes moment this season, wasn't there?
Yeah.
So, easy one here, just looking at his returns from injury in recent times. So, last time he came back from injury, it was only 2 games missed, 68 points versus the Dolphins. Solid. He scored 114 against the Roosters earlier in the year. That was coming back from just a 1-game layoff, so it is different to that. But nonetheless, missed a game, come back from injury, bang. And the last time that he came back before that from injury, a well-noted one, the Dragons, round 4 last year. He'd missed the first 3 games of the season.
Dragons round. Doesn't ring a bell.
Nothing?
Nothing.
180 points for Nicho Hynes. So that was, as I said, I can't remember if he played any pre-season games, but yeah, missed the first 3 games of the year, came back to a 180. Let's talk Nicho Hynes. Let's say you've already mentioned that it's an awkward timing for those maybe wanting to move DCE to him or whoever it might be, but let's say Nicho's confirmed to play. You obviously keen?
Oh, mate, I'm so keen. It's just timing. And like, even as you said, like what was his lowest score returning from injury there? 68 or something? I'm confident that's going to be more than DCE this week. I'm confident it's going to be more than Cody Walker this week.
Yeah.
It'll probably be more than Jaden Campbell. That's my halves.
Yeah.
I'm very, very interested, but timing wise, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it work.
Because you'd go...
I'd probably have to trade Jaden Campbell. Could I even do that? No, I couldn't actually.
No.
So, yeah, probably duck eggs for me, unfortunately.
If the Sharks come out and say Nico's in before Friday or whatever...
I'll tell you what, if you are someone out there that has Galvin at 5'8", is he dual or not, Galvin?
No.
Oh, okay. If you can make it work that you can have a halfback spot available, just keep it free, I reckon.
And there's a lot that held, I know the Spies in the boat of having held Cleary. So he can...
What? He's still got Cleary?
Well, they only missed a week, didn't he?
Yeah,
Moved
right,
last
okay.
week.
Yeah, sorry, fair, yeah.
Felt like ages ago, didn't it? That injury.
Yeah, sorry, I don't think it was last week. Yeah, sorry, apologies.
So he just held with an eye to Nico, basically. The problem again, the Panthers will have already played by that time, so not going to have confirmation or might not have confirmation.
Oh, what a clusterfuck. Timing's just off. Mate, if the game was on Thursday or Friday night and he was playing, I would trade any of Cody Walker or DC, do him in a heartbeat.
To be fair, like the Sharks could come out before then and say, like, he's in. So, especially by Manly play 6 p.m. Friday, I think. So, if by then they come out and do it, you never know.
The thing I wonder, Timmy, is I was going to say, I mean, the Roosters play after them, don't they? So they won't know the Roosters' result too, trying to get a top. Yeah, I don't know. It's just unfortunate the way that it's all played out. All right, let's move to Daniel Tupou. Big game last week, mate. Doesn't have Gluhan Suali inside him this week, which helps. In a wild world, I would rather Stili Tupanua at centre than Michael Jennings as a draft owner of Tupou. But anyway, what do you got for me?
Yeah, I don't mind Jennings there for him. He's got some pretty deft little touch there, little tip on, so I think it's okay. And Tupou, much like Gagai for me, is just one that I always talk about, I always rap, never own. So 9 games he's played since round 15. He's averaged 78.78 in that time. The run home, obviously very soft draw to, well, God, who knows what the Raiders are going to turn up this week.
I don't think it's that soft, personally.
What I said last night to the Spy is that the Raiders' edge defence is what really concerns me. I think it's very leaky. Penrith aren't using their edges very well at the moment.
Yeah.
A lot of that, what they do is off like the back rows or in tight around the ruck. And you look at the wingers. The wingers just aren't scoring that many tries. I know, I'm aware Laurie had like 4 linebacks last week, but they lost. It was a big upset. The 2 weeks before that, 2 of the best ball movers in the competition are the Cowboys and the Seagulls, going side to side. Both put 40 on us, on our edges. The Roosters, also exceptional at moving the ball side to side. That's what concerns me. So, as I said, the Raiders could get up for this. Maybe there's an upset. But the 2 weeks prior, we got 40 put on us. So we could also get scorched if that game last week took a lot out of us. Regardless, I think Tupou's a really sneaky player. I don't have his exact ownership up, but it'd be very low. He's going good.
Yeah, he's like a sub, I think 4% or something.
Yeah.
He's very low, yeah. Mate, let's talk about Greg Marju. I sold him last week. I am a little bit nervous now.
You sold him?
I went to Gagai, which netted me 100 points, so I think
great
worst
move,
case scenario, I won't go under. But I reckon Greg now, as I've said for the last month, when he's got Bradman Best inside him in a strike centre, he'll do well, I think.
Here come the Stals. I didn't realise you traded him to Gagai. Yeah. Okay, that's exciting. So the numbers weren't as appealing as I thought, but I looked at Marju with Best in the team, and I was sort of thinking they'd be pretty high scoring. This season, it was 9 or 10 or 11 games or something. Might have even been a couple more. 58.9 average with Best in the team, which is solid, but probably not as high as I thought. I suppose the different tier is the Knights are playing some really good footy. They've got 2 soft games to come at home. Like, prior to Best getting named, the Knights had just become a right edge team. Like, and Gagai, to your credit, was a masterstroke. Best back in, it changes a lot. And like, I think Ponga and Best and are like bloody thick as thieves. And just whenever he plays, whenever Best plays, he just looks to go left more, Ponga, doesn't he?
Yep.
Very enticing.
The thing as well, and I've been saying it the last few weeks, like, mate, like if you watch Dylan Lucas closely, he doesn't even hold the ball in two hands. He catches it, he puts it on the arm, and he goes, which I'm fine with. That's his role.
Yeah.
But from a SuperCoach point of view, it was really fucking up Greg.
Yeah.
Like he's had one attacking opportunity in the last 3 weeks, and it wasn't last week, it was the week before when he scored, and he looked fucking untouchable. I reckon with Bradman back in, I reckon he'll do well. And as you said, 58 average with Bradman, sure. If I could have a filter on his average with Bradman best inside him on Sunday afternoons in Newcastle.
Soft matchups.
I really like Marcia for the run home.
Yeah, so that big factor there. So that really excites me. Going up against the Dolphins, the Titans' better defensive edge. However, we saw last week, it was that right edge of the Titans of 4 and out there, and would have been Brimson or someone out there. Yeah. Jojo Fifita, they're the ones who got absolutely torn up by Stili Tupanua. So if the Titans don't turn up, which they haven't for a while now, I don't think it really matters that much.
Let's talk about Dane Gagai. I'm obviously a reasonably big fan. Obviously, the left edge for the Newcastle Knights will get more ball. I'm still pretty confident Gagai scores well, though. Talk to me.
Yeah, if you didn't beat me to the punch a week earlier, I'd nearly get him in. But obviously, I'm not going to copy you with that one. But he looks a really, even with best back, still a good investment. And we just rattle this shit off all the time, don't we? So a low score this season of 42 points. Hasn't scored under 48 since round 6. Ducked up that 96 against the Sharkies with 137 on the weekend. Owned by 4.2% of top-ranked teams. Just a really good play to end the season.
Hasn't gone below, what'd you say, below 48 or?
Well, he's got a low score of 42 this season and hasn't gone under 48 since round 6.
That is outrageous for a CTW. Oh, that's delicious.
Base of 38, bust tackles for fun. Gee, like, again, credit to you for jumping on when you did, but you just sit there and go, why is it taking this long?
Why is he not spoken about more?
I don't know.
Like, yeah, bizarre.
I think just because he's getting on a bit and he's getting older, like, oh, there's got to be a regression or whatever. It's like, well, no, there doesn't.
Mate, I felt that way about him at South Sydney.
I know.
Feels like half a decade ago.
He's getting better.
Wild. Okay, let's talk about Edwards and Drinky. Open bracket, turbo, closed bracket. Talk to me. What do we got?
The turbo was just to remind myself where I was going here. General conversation, probably one more for next week. But as I said, I think it's the Cowboys beat the Storm, which they absolutely should. And if if the Dogs beat Manly, I don't believe that Manly can finish 5th or 6th and get that home semi. They'll be locked into 7th or 8th. It just could lead to mass rest by Manly next week because these players have been up for a long time. And the key one there is Tom Trbojevic. If they aren't playing for a home semi, I think they would be mad to play Tom Trbojevic next week. That being said, if they could fall to 8th, it could mean they play the Doggies week 1 of finals as opposed to the Cowboys. You'd want to be playing the Cowboys, I think, not the Doggies, the way the Dogs are going. However, regardless, I think it's a decent chance that if those results pan out the way they potentially will, Turbo could get rested. It just brings into to the prospect of those two blokes. Drinky's more of a this week option, but you wouldn't do it. But Dylan Edwards. So the Panthers have 2 games to come, both at home. They are against the Bunnies, and then next week is... Who they got next week?
Titans.
Awesome matchups. Dylan Edwards kicking goals. Penrith coming off 2 losses. Drinky has the Dogs next week, which is tricky. But...
Yeah, but I reckon there's every chance they could rest as well.
Cows?
No, the Dogs.
Dogs potentially, yeah. If they're locked into a home final.
Like, you might find that Drinky gets a weekend Melbourne Storm in North Queensland this weekend and then a week in Canterbury the next week.
There's every chance Dogs are locked into 5th or 6th and can't jump into 4th.
Yep.
Maybe they can. But if that were to occur, then Drinky gets that. They're awesome matchups for Drinky and Edwards. And I said, you're not going to trade Teddy, Turbo, Ponga to them this week. But even as a 1-week plan next week, if Turbo gets rested or anything happens to Teddy or Ponga, far out, they're good matchups.
I reckon I wouldn't be going Edwards personally. He's injured at the moment. He's carrying something, and I think you can just eyeball that and see it. And I think that if they do get him fronting games or anything, I think he'll be the first one taken off. from what I've gathered, I think he's a chance to get rested next week still. Even though they're playing for plenty. Because he's not 100%.
As long as they
can't fall out of the four, I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, and realistically, their points difference. The Roosters aren't losing the next 2 weeks, I don't think, barring restings or even so. I don't think they're falling out. So they're probably going to finish third or fourth, the Panthers. Yeah, as long as they can't fall out of the four, as you said.
If you forced me to trade in one of those two this week, I would go Drinky personally for the next 2 weeks. But obviously you have to trade out a big gun there.
I suppose the thing is, you would know if the Doggies beat Manly, we'll know that Friday night. If the Doggies beat Manly, then Penrith could drop out of the four. In which case,
I think, and we will only know in hindsight, but I think there is every chance that Turbo scores 60, 70 points for the rest of the season. I don't reckon he goes huge against Canterbury this week, and I reckon there's every chance he gets rested next week.
Yeah.
But we won't know until then.
God, I hope
big balls play, but fuck, it could pay dividends. If you're someone,
it could, yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you're sitting there in overall and it's hard because you go, all right, do I cement my top 10 spot or whatever and try and cling onto a grand, or do you go, screw it?
Fuck that.
Let's go for it and go for the 50K.
Bees stick away from 50K, make a move.
50K
no one gives a fuck if you're 10th or if you're fucking
50K changes your life, 1,000 doesn't.
Yeah, I'd go all in.
Yeah.
So, see what you can do. All right, should we get to our trades this week, mate?
Yeah.
I unfortunately am pretty boring. I don't think I'll be making a trade. Had Nico's game been earlier or we had some absolute confirmation he was playing, I would consider doing that. But I think it's probably unlikely for me. Are you in a similar boat? What are you thinking?
I'm on the fence a little bit, but yes, I'm in a similar boat just because I've got quite a strong 17 at the moment. Like, as it stands, I'm probably not playing like a Ruben Garrick or someone. So if I was to trade in, there's a few people I really like this week, and I'd love a piece of like Jerome Luai against the Bunnies. I think he can go big. I would love Brian Toto just as a real high upside option. The funny thing is about this, I'm like 800 points behind you. I'm not going to catch you. But on this slim, off
I told
chance,
you that 25 weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. Thanks, mate. On this slim, off chance that there are injuries, that Teddy gets 200 as my skipper, whatever it might be, I've got to grasp onto something.
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
Zach Lomax is the best trading option this week, but me doing that's going to achieve absolutely nothing because you got him. So his matchup against Para, Blaze Talangi out there. I was about to say Radradra. That'd have been not right.
Would not have been right. No.
It's just a terrific matchup out there, and I just think Lomax has a field day. But I need to try and grasp onto catching you. So,
is there anyone else jumping out for you as a one that you could just grab as a pluck to try and get huge points?
Luai or Toto. I think they destroy the Bunnies, and then next week they've got the Titans at home. I think they smash that one as well, like both in Penrith. So I like those two.
Yeah, I'm not huge on Jerome Luai personally. I wasn't last week either. I like the Brian Toto play. I think that could be a huge one.
Yeah, well, sorry. Luai's not going to happen because Munster got names now. Like, if I was going to do it, it would be Munster to him. Now I'm like, well, I don't need to do that. So it'd be Toto, and I'd probably go, I've got 335K in the bank, so I could go like McLean to Toto, or probably not quite Arthur's to Toto.
Can I tell you what you should do if you're fair income about trying to catch me?
Yeah.
You should buy Bradman Best, and you should just go all in on that Knights left edge and just hope that they switch it on, because I don't have Marsu.
Yeah.
If you have Best, Marsu, and you're captaining KP the next 2 weeks, for example, you could have a little lash at it. You need a lot to go your way still, but
the only and I get it. Point taken. Like, you'll also captain Ponga the next 2 weeks.
Oh, for sure. But if all the ball goes down that left edge, we know what those two are capable of in shit matchups at Newcastle at home. I actually don't mind the idea of trading in Bradman Best, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm half considering. That's the only other thing I was tossing up, was maybe going Ramey into Bradman Best this week. But because I don't have Marzu, I sort of think
Yeah, and I guess the Toto thing is, Does Toto get a rest next week potentially as well? There's every chance.
You know what? I'd be mad if you traded in Bradman Best this week and I traded in Fletcher Sharp and we just went
all in on the
left and right, going up against each other.
Well, probably it's gone away a little bit since Bradman Best came in, but I had as one of my super pods this week, Fletcher Sharp. Mate, the way they've been hitting that right edge and the matchups they have, he's got 4 tries a couple of weeks back, but yeah. So, but the other factor is, as I said, and I can make obviously a few of these decisions after the Manly game and after the Cowboys game. But if it does look like Manly can't finish better than 7th or 8th, mate, like I own Cherry Evans, Garrick, Olakau'atu too. So if they mass rest, I would love to have a trade on my sleeve next week. Like, and could potentially do if they mass rest next week, they play the Sharks. So Ches to Nico, huge play.
Yeah, it's the play. Yeah.
If they rest, if Penrith end up resting players, if the Doggies end up resting players, however it all eventuates, it could be a tricky week.
And I'm talking strictly from vibe. I've got nothing to back this up whatsoever. Seibold comes across to me as a guy that wouldn't rest. Have we got any? Is there any evidence from the past of him?
I don't know.
I just got a feeling that they won't, man.
Turbo's the exception.
Turbo's probably the exception, yes. But I just reckon the rest of them, I don't think he will. But I'm talking directly out of my ass. Just complete vibe, but each their own. You've got a good read on Manly. Any idea? What do you reckon? Turbo, the exception?
I think
open bracket,
think
close
there's
bracket?
just certain Turbo parenthesis.
Yes.
We can also roll with that. Siebes, in my opinion, rests certain positions. I don't think there's like a one size fits all with him. I think it depends on the player. So I think Turbo, yes, but I don't know if he would change up the other parts of the game. I don't know.
But their last game at Brookvale for the year too, I
don't see it happening
I don't know.
because
Sell out.
Yeah.
exactly.
I don't reckon they do rest.
I don't think so either.
I don't know. I wonder if Turbo's trying to give money back to the club, feeling a bit guilty. I wonder if he does step out. I don't know. It's an interesting talking point. But okay, should we do sit v starts, Timbo?
Yep.
Timbo Slice. Let's have a look. Mine's pretty straightforward this week. With Josh Curran, he picks himself. Appy's out, so I only have Wade Egan as my only hooker. Kaipis Paul's in all sorts. Ruben Porter's MIA. My decision comes down to essentially Cody Walker, Simi Sasangi, or DCE. Which one of those do I play in at the moment? I'm leaning towards DCE.
Has to be.
Yeah. I'm playing Ruben Garrick. I know you mentioned you might not be. With Ramian out now, I sort of have to play Garrick, but I feel okay with playing Garrick.
Oh, he's fine.
Yeah.
It's just one of them hugely owned. I'm like,
Yes.
I've got enough depth there that I probably don't need to. Look, he's coming up against really good defensive edges at the Dogs, and I think his ceiling's just very capped in this one. Huge game for the Dogs. But look, his base is so good. He'll kick a few goals. He'll still score well, but good opportunity to do so. I am looking at a bench of Feeder, Sammy Walker, Munster, and Ponga. I've got Cherry Evans starting. I've got Dill Brown's a good little one for the last 2 weeks for me. Dragons into, can't remember who's someone quite soft, Titans or someone. The final week. Tigers.
Yep.
Tigers Spoon Bowl. So, yeah, them four. CT double pick itself. Obviously sitting Garrick there. And, yeah, Reece Robson up at hooker. So, yeah, pretty well sorts itself out. The big one is, sitting Garrick. Playing Munster. How do you feel about Munster going into this game? Severely
Is he
depleted.
going to play? That was when I eyeballed it yesterday, I just thought, why the fuck would you send Munster and Pappy up to North Queensland to play there in a game that doesn't matter?
Why name them? I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, I know, I get that, but I just, I don't know. And I mean, if the game is done and dusted, or they're getting trounced, or they're winning by heaps, or whatever, do you just pull them?
Well, they did last week.
I was going to say, is that not more likely what they're thinking?
Another great moment for the Stars last week when they're putting a score on the Dolphins and the fullback, the halfback, the hooker all turned up, and they bring Munster off with about 20 to go. It's like, yes, great.
Even just Munster He's got a family and stuff. I just
So
thought,
could
just
it
give
have-
me the
He's got a
week.
family.
I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense
know.
to me.
Could it
I
have
believe they
anything
booked
to-
a charter flight back
Right.
then after the game. So
Maybe.
maybe that. Yeah, I don't know. But
You're not going to waste a charter flight on the Sunshine Coast Falcons, are
you wouldn't think so.
But Munster might also want to play. He's
Yeah.
had a large portion of
Yeah.
the season off the field.
Ditto,
Probably
Pappy.
wants to keep it moving.
They might be thinking that an 80-minute hit out, they need it. They're sort of just starting to get back into it. I'm with you, Roo. I was surprised that they're both playing, but Munster's been okay since she's come back. They might just be thinking, I want another hit out. But anyway. So, yeah, at least I'll know early in the round. So if he does sit out, I'll just play Garrick.
I think as well playing Pappy like
He's
Farlongo's
played
playing wing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Look, regardless, even if Munster does play, I don't feel great about it just because they're so depleted. But
Yeah.
he will run the show.
yeah. Craig Bellamy probably knows a thing or two more than
Yeah,
me.
well, we'll see.
Mate, you mentioned before leaving Ruben Garrick out. I didn't really he's 93% ownership in the top 5%. I look in the top 5% now. You know,
I don't think there's a filter for top 40%.
I don't mind that play by you. That's not bad at all.
Thanks, mate.
I'll tell you what, for you in the last week too, AFB's 82.6% ownership.
A big reason on why I haven't got him in the last 26 rounds.
Love that.
Yeah, and this is all pending that I don't make a trade either. As I said, a little bit of an itchy finger around Brian Toto, but geez, it could be valuable to have a trade next week.
Go Bradman Best.
You go Bradman Best.
No, there's no point in me going Bradman Best. You could make, I reckon it's your only avenue.
Oh,
Kat, what are you thinking as far how many trades have you got left now?
I've got 2 trades left.
Oh, God, that fills my cup.
2 trades, and I've got almost 400K in the bank. So, like, I'm just looking at just a cheeky little upgrade.
Who are your halves?
I have Cherry Evans and Dylan Brown, and I have Cody Walker and Lucky Galvin in my 5/8.
5/8 trade, surely.
So Kat could hypothetically go Dill Brown to Nico Hynes if she wanted to, couldn't she? Because he plays Saturday 3 p.m, so we'll know
Or
by then.
Cody Walker.
I could also do Cody.
Cody Walker for sure.
Will we know by the time Cody kicks off if Nico's playing or not?
Bunnies play
They're the 8
We
p.m.
play
game Friday.
Bunnies
8
play
p.m. Friday.
Friday, yeah, late game.
And when are the
Sharks
Sharkies?
is Saturday 7:35.
Oh, okay. So I could still potentially. Okay.
You'd get 18 cut.
Yeah.
My alternatives are also that I have RTS, Casey McLean, and Ramian. I couldn't move any
fuck.
of those. I know.
You got dished yesterday.
Yeah.
Jeez, you were quiet during teamless.
Yeah, because I was crying.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Have you got Marcia?
No.
I think I'd hold Jesse Ramian for another week. I think
Yeah.
he's just so much of a good pod that I'd be holding on to him. But what's Casey McLean at? What's his price? Fuck,
427.
I don't mind Cat moving Casey McLean onto a little Potterella.
Neither do I. That's
Yeah,
kind of
take
what
a
I was
pick.
actually leaning towards.
Can you go Casey to Brian Toto?
Let's have a little look.
Wouldn't mind that play.
Yeah, I love it.
I absolutely
I'm considering
can.
it.
With 130K in the bank.
Have you got Casey?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah?
You can do
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
You got him, yeah?
It's fine.
No, I sold him a few weeks ago. I think I sold him to Ramian. I moved him on. I don't mind that play for you.
I don't mind it either.
I think that's good.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
Big Jacob Little guy over there too.
Little, yeah.
She brought him in last week.
Oh, did you?
I did.
She did it.
I did.
Nice. You went all right as well. Knocked out a 70 odd.
Yeah, not
73,
as
yeah.
good as Appy Coruscant, who I didn't play.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I'll play both this week.
But he's not playing. Well,
wait,
not playing
Appy's
this
got a
week.
bye this week, so never mind.
You'll gain an advantage there. I like it. Okay.
There you go, guys. I'm actually just going to lock in my trade.
Do it now. I
Casey
like that.
McLean to Brian Toto, and he's
done it.
And
playing
you're going to
against.
save one trade for next week.
Correct.
Yeah, I like that.
Let's
Cool.
do it. Let's roll.
Okay, let's talk about captains, Timbo. Me personally, I am thinking a VC on my good mate Val Holmes, who I tell you what, has served me well this year. He's given me a couple of 140 VCs this year.
Yeah.
So I'm going to VC him on Thursday night, and then my El Capitano will be the great Kaylin Pongier.
Yep. I am thinking similar with Val, and just in particular because I don't really want to drop anyone from my team if I am looping,
Yeah.
except for I've got Curran and Paseka at front row. So if I'm dropping, it's absolutely there.
Yeah.
So I love Val's matchup against the Storm. They're depleted. He could go huge. So Val VC allows me to, if I am doing it, drop Curran or Paseka. Granted, it'd have to be a big score to not go Teddy. Captain, here's what I'm doing. If we get to Sunday and by some miracle I've pulled back 300 points on you, I will go Teddy just as a flyer, not flyer, but like to try and catch you because you don't own him. If
That's
really,
a flyer, and I back it.
Yeah.
You got to try something.
Yeah. But I love the Ponga players, Skipper, this week. I love their matchup. So, if I haven't reigned in any territory on you, I will be going Ponga.
His name's come up a few times today, but I'll tell you what, a little pod captain that I fucking love is Lomax.
Absolutely.
I think it is it's a ballsy play, but I absolutely love it. Outside of that, if you are bringing in a Brian Toto, I don't mind him.
I was just going to say, what do you guys think of a little pod play, Brian Toto against South?
The issue with that is sometimes it just doesn't go down his edge, whether he's on the left, whether it's on the right. You just don't freaking know with Penrith where they're going to go. So we've seen time, like he's gone sub, I think 45 something the last 2 weeks. Like it's an okay play and it could all go down his edge and he could get 150, but it could go all down the other edge and he could get 30. Whereas it's going. Do you have Lomax, Kat?
Yeah, I do.
Whereas everything's going to go down Lomax's edge. So I like and his goal kicking. I like the Lomax play more than Toto.
Fair.
Yeah, Lomax very appealing.
Yeah.
All right, is that us? Done and doosted?
Yeah.
How good? We will see you next week for our final episode of the week-to-week stuff, and then we're going to have a special little review at the end of the year. We go through the three of our teams. We've got a special little format that hopefully arrives from Temu soon because that's one of the great holds of the breath of all time.
Gee, that's going to be tough to get through that one.
We'll make it fun though. I'll have fun anyway. But
No. I mean, like just going through my team.
I'm looking forward to it.
I know you are.
I can't fucking wait. It's going to be great. So, yeah, we will see you tonight on The Late Show answering all of your questions. Best of luck with your captains, SuperCoach scores, everything. SC Playbook last night. Who was with you? What did you do? What happened? Talk to me.
Desmond Creek.
Oh, Desi.
Desi, he's sitting 200th.
Of course he is.
Mate, he's sat on about 200th just about all year. Not going up, not going down, just rock solid in 200th.
Poor guy.
Desi in the Spy. And yes, we basically went through, it's head-to-head grand final week, of course. So we basically listed our highest scoring predicted players for the week. We took out the obvious Ponga, Turbo, Teddy, and from there down, and we just listed them 1 to about 5, 6, 7. If you're looking for a player to bring in to win your head-to-head GF, we've named them.
I like that.
Yeah.
So it's head-to-head grand finals this weekend?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I would love to get a number for how many people go for a last-minute Lomax captain. Leave people in the dark and do it at the last second.
Lomax last minute or Teddy, the other one would be Teddy and Ponga owners just sitting it on one of them and then the last second going bang to the other one. That would be the big one.
I like it. I'm a huge fan of shit like that. Back it. All right. Thank you for joining us once again, guys. We'll see you later tonight on The Late Show.